Welcome back. We continue our never-ending discussion on public policy. Today, we discuss the current public policy proposals from the Democratic Party. Their platform today and in the past has routinely consisted of raising the minimum wage, passing legislation that requires firms to pay workers a minimum amount. This is a government intervention into the free market. This platform, this policy issue has always failed. Although legislation has been passed and minimum wages have been instituted, the actual action of the policy doesn't work. Never has, never will. It is a mostly failed government intervention. For more on this, check my channel out and search for videos from Walt Williams and Thomas Sowell. It sounds like a great idea. Guarantee a specific, certain minimum amount so people can survive. It just doesn't work. It's math, it's economics. Check out the videos. Nonetheless, the Democratic Party consistently and routinely puts this as part of their platform. Their proposal is to pass legislation that requires firms to pay a minimum amount to workers. You make more money. Great, awesome. Here is the problem in 2024 and moving forward. Fine, if you want to pretend this policy works, but this platform issue doesn't work with the rest of their platform issues, with the rest of their actions over the last 4 years. What are those actions? What are those public policy platforms? The Democratic Party, through legislation and executive order, has supported open borders. They have not reduced the numbers of illegal immigrants or illegal immigration or undocumented immigration or immigrants that enter the country through the illegal means. They have not. And the numbers you can check in the immigration video that was recently released. So how does that tie into minimum wage? Minimum wage is an attempt through legislation to increase the salaries of workers. This policy, in terms of open borders and allowing a steady flow of immigrants into the country, results in a higher supply of workers. And as we know, as great students of economics, that when you increase supply, you lower price, be it with a good, a resource, or labor. The more workers available, those workers, laborers, fight against each other in an auction type style to get jobs. And how do they fight? Not fist to fist, hand to hand combat. The way the strong survive, the way that they fight in this auction is through wage demands. If you want to get hired by the firm, the leverage is with the firm. If you want to be chosen or selected, and your talents and skills are equal that to the other possible candidates that you're competing against, the thousands and thousands, because the supply is high, the way that you are selected, the way that you get hired, the way is through wage. The employer, looking at the skills of the supply of workers, having a bunch to choose from, sorts them out and decides, I'll hire the one of you that's willing to work for the least. That is how you compete. You accept lower wages. Thousands of laborers in the country competing for a few jobs, the worker that gets the job is more than likely the worker that accepts the lowest wages. So here is the conundrum, the situation where minimum wage seeks to increase wages, whereas their other proposed policy results in lower wages. You can't have both. This is a paradox. And this may be the major reason why the Democratic Party suffered an astounding defeat in the 2024 election. The American populace is onto this. The American public understands basic economics. While a minimum wage increase sounds good, it doesn't work economically. Now, most Americans probably don't understand that. They probably have not watched the videos on here because no one watches the videos on here unless you've been assigned the videos on here. And even the students that have been assigned the videos on here don't watch the videos on here. And they haven't sat in an economics classroom or don't remember what they learned in an economics classroom. And so the idea of minimum wage, maybe that concept doesn't completely click. But they do know what happens with open borders. Whether they know the actual economics of it, the supply going up, the price going down, they have seen in real life the result of illegal immigration and an influx of labor into this nation. They know that it has suppressed wages. Barack Obama was very clear about finishing the wall. He was very clear when he exported, and I guess that's a nice way of saying it, or deported more immigrants than any other president, because he understood a high supply of labor suppresses the wages of the middle and lower income class. He's on the record talking about this. He does not hide from this. His deportation numbers support this. If you want to support the middle class and the lower income class, you've got to control illegal immigration. The current Democratic Party, under Biden, Harris, and whoever is running it, may not understand this. Most voters do understand the bottom issue. So we have a problem. Is it that the Democratic Party failed economics? Do they not understand that you can pass the minimum wage, but it doesn't matter because your other policies just lower wages? Why not just have a Barack Obama style immigration policy and limit immigration, and that will lower the supply of workers and increase wages, and you don't have to worry about a minimum wage? But what we have here maybe is not just a failure of economics and understanding that these two platform issues counteract each other. What we more than likely have with the Democratic Party is that they're playing off the hope, the dream, the concept that people just don't know any better. Well, they knew better in 2024, or at least they ignored the minimum wage and focused on the issue with immigration, suppressing wages, and other issues that arise with illegal, undocumented immigrants coming into the country. What we more than likely have is simply a Democratic Party that leans on the problem with current democracy. We do not vote necessarily on life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We may talk about life and liberty, but it's that pursuit of happiness thing that often people vote on. And that pursuit of happiness thing is no longer connected to John Locke's theories on property or Thomas Jefferson's theories on the pursuit of happiness, or even the more vague explanation in the preamble of the Constitution promoting the general welfare. They lean on, give me free stuff. Gimme, I'll vote for you if I get the thing. I'll vote for you if I get a minimum wage increase. The other guy down the street, he'll vote for you if you allow him to enter the country illegally. Making promises to everyone to get votes, but then having to pass policies that counteract each other. And hoping that the two different people voting for you don't understand the difference. That's more than likely what we're running into. The Democratic Party simply promising handouts to everyone, promising platform and policy issues to anyone that can generate a vote that will give them power. Even if the two separate policies contradict each other. Now, there could be an argument that, well, the reason they're raising the minimum wage is because they're allowing immigration. The reason that they have to pass laws to raise the minimum wage is because they also want to allow anyone into the country undocumented. I suppose, but that seems to be a very roundabout way of, well, you don't need to pass a minimum wage if you simply secure the border like Barack Obama or Donald Trump. Why go through all the trouble of passing a minimum wage and getting involved in the economy and telling firms how much they have to pay someone when you can simply do what is already the job of the government, which is to protect our borders, also in the preamble? Why not just do the basic job of the government over the last 250 years, as stated in the Constitution, provide for domestic tranquility, look it up, Constitution, and thus we do not need a conversation about the minimum wage. But the conversation happens simply because, A, the Democratic Party failed economics, which is very hard to believe, or B, more than likely, the Democratic Party, which was unsuccessful in 2024, decided and continues to decide the best way to gain power and remain in power is to simply make handout promises, dole out money to anyone who gets in line in exchange for their votes. It is unfortunate, but things could change. Things could positively move in any other direction.